16-12 in favor of
Lunatic.
Lunatic. I was supposed to take that hint as in like I'm leaning toward them. I actually did pick them.
Yeah.
16-12. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Lunatic Esports start on TT side. I'm interested to see what the purchases are on T. We already have a armor decoy, 4 armors, 2 decoys, and the bomb carrier also armored. No subtlety here. It's time to gun everybody down with all the Glocks for CTs. They also don't like subtlety. They're just going with armor as well. We're going to have a long distance Glock to USP engagement from the Dark, the Suicide, whatever you want to call it, and somebody eventually is going to eat a long distance headshot.
Yeah, it's definitely in favor of the. Oh, it's a USP. I mean a P2000, not a USPS. If it was USPS, I'd say that's in favor.
That's true. The T's have stalled up. They're waiting outside the range of the palm tree, potentially to find a pusher. Now, this I find a little bit curious here. There's no sound bait. There's no reason for a CT to push yet because somebody. Ooh, there's that headshot we were looking for, and it was a USP after all. Juvenile steps out at mid and hits a long piercing headshot onto Flom. So again, let me say this. There's no reason, right? Unless they on film see Lunatic be aggressive and push for no reason, then this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You'd have to have a sound bait to go along with this.
Yeah, either way, they're getting out to long free here. And obviously there's the number 2 man who's in CT, not even on catwalk. So, I mean, if they just get by here without obviously losing people, that's not happening.
Crossing with no smokes is bad for your health. Still just, oh, Fugly hits one after just tapping with repeated with the 2000. He's going to get a bomb plant down. You could call that in some abstract way a win on the round, but Tempo Gaming never really got out of the starting blocks here. They kind of went to a default, very, very passive, ate an unnecessary headshot, and then, of course, attempted to cross onto the platform with no smoke. So, I mean, there's a lot of question marks here.
Yeah, the bomb plant is the consolation prize if you don't get the pistol round, because then you'll have enough money to buy the 3rd round, and that puts the CTs in a different position because they have to think, okay, well, we know they're going to buy in the 3rd round. We kind of really want to upgrade to get AK, M4s to go up against their AKs, and if they don't, then they're going to be looking into trouble here. So, I mean, it does play a pretty big, important role in terms of the CT economy as well.
For our 2nd round purchases, 3 FAMASes, a full upgrade to the armor kit M4A4, and Daps, I suppose, will play as far back as possible as to not risk losing that. Juvenile trades one with CZ. Fugly will join him on top of the platform. He also had a TK right there. That could have been bad. And Daps finally arrives on the scene, 2 versus 1, to clean up Flom as he drops back. That's 3 on the round for him and another anti-eco. No, excuse me, the first anti-eco 1 for Lunatic.
But still not that bad of an eco for Tempo because they forced 3 kills right there, so that's going to force 3 buys. And like I said, that's even a bigger situation because now they have to, buy. And it's, well, we don't have enough money to exactly buy M4s, so we have to buy the FAMASes now. And so we're going to be a little bit outgunned here. But Shazam was able to get that 3rd round op, as we just saw, and he got that early pick, so that's going to be huge.
There's going to be another attempt at it. Looks like Shazam's repositioning himself to come back across. He's going to play a swing with his op and stay on the ramp to be a fill-in for wherever it is he's needed. They have a single player at mid, very unsupported, and if Daps is unsupported, if for some reason Booner can hit a shot and remove him, there's going to be a massive lag in the rotate time for the nearest player. That's going to be Shazam with an op, who's not even going to be running. He's going to wait for Fugly. Now it looks like the defense is filling in. Barely. Fugly hasn't yet to commit, and they're not going to support mid, even though there's good knowledge, good map knowledge that Daps knows somebody at least is at mid pressuring.
Yeah, he got the information that it was Booner there, and wow, shots managed to make it out to blue dumpster right there, and he picked up Juvenile, who didn't even check that spot, but Shazam respawns, so that's a 1-for-1 trade right there. But now the attack is going to be cat.
Fugly had a free kill in his sights. He's not able to rein it in with the FAMAs, the recoil pattern not being the type that he's probably used to. It's okay, Shazam will have those 2 shots zeroed in, pick up where exactly his teammate messed up. Lunatic cleans that one up, and more importantly, they actually don't take too many deaths this round because the last round was just not ideal for them.
Yeah, and that's going to be huge because, they were facing that gun round where they didn't quite have the matching artillery to go against these guys, but now they pick up the round, and now it's going to be a save round for Tempo Gaming. Obviously, they're going to go with the CZ, and it looks like, honestly, it's going to be a CZ rush to be.
It will be. CZ's 1 Glock, no armor. That nade could be devastating. Its sails past, does a lot, allows Nap to pick up 2. There's an AK in range, and Nap has to be very careful, or not, or he could just destroy it. That's cool. Never mind.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out. Because, like I said, without Pinecone, I just don't know how Booner's going to play. So far, he hasn't gotten any kills, which, I mean, it's been the first 4 rounds of the match, so you can't really judge anything there. But, I mean, Pinecone, you know, once the game progresses and he gets his AK in his hands, he starts actually making plays. And he sets up a lot of round wins for Tempo Gaming with his entry frags. So, with that missing, it's going to be interesting to see how they make up for that.
Look at this. The boost, and Shazam unscopes at the wrong moment. Doesn't matter. Comes back for a second peek, and Booner, I don't think identified him on either account. There was no shot from Booner. He gets hit. He's dropped a single T off the field already, and Daps adds on just I was going to say a little bit more damage, but oh my god. Flom didn't have armor.
Nope. Went for that naked op buy, which was a gamble, and he paid for it because now he's down to 8 health from a nade.
That is the painful sort of thing. A errant op shot by Nat Fly. That means bomb site B is open for business. The bomb will be soon planted, and the retake starts a bit early for Lunatik, who's trying to move in concert across the map before the bomb gets dropped. Shots is there for the lurk. He may get a second, and Juvenile's coming back to support his teammate. Shazam saying, I don't have enough time to wait for you to get here. I got to challenge this guy. And though Juvenile was smoked off, he had the chance at least to sound bait for shots to at least second guess where he should be looking. So this round is a Tempo Gaming win. Juvenile has an AK to his name, but he may be hunted down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of time for him to stay alive here, and, you know, you see the number 7 man, which is Flom, who has an op. It has a good chance to pick him up, but, I mean, if, you know, Flom loses that op to Juvenile, then that's another story altogether. I said, you know, I'm not sure how Tempo's what they're gonna do to make up for Pinecone, the missing Pinecone entry frags, and apparently the answer to that is Emong. He went out mid to B, and he picked up those entry frags, no problem, and he picked.
You saw that full rage flashbang spray down by Emong. That was great.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, either way, he's picking up the slack. You know, he's doing what he needs to get these guys back into the game. They pick up the round, stop the bleeding a little bit here, and they're getting back in it now.
A slow possession into B tunnels, though it's not. I take back the slow. There's an awful amount of noise being made here. It looks as though Michael 3D's made it out to the double stack, and he hugged the wall, just dodged a couple of bullets, and he walks out really badly wounded. And for all that effort, he hit nothing. Absolutely nothing. So worthy investment? Not sure. Not sure what the play was, because clearly he came in with some purpose. New meta, maybe?
Maybe.
Start the round with 11 HP on purpose.
Yeah.
Now we're back to a default. Single controller in B tunnel. One was at long, coming back toward Palm, supporting now. This will turn into a 3-2 split. You have the 7-player moving back across to the tunnel. And look at the mini-map. The players are already through. The bomb carrier is on the wrong side of the split. He's actually in between the CT side. He could get shot down. The bomb is dropped, and thankfully, it's within reach of the team, reasonable reach of the team. Nat Fly still alive, stepped out of the sight, could have flicked that player on the platform, will try to flash himself back in or wait for his teammates. 4 versus 2, and again, one of the players that's left was at 11 HP for no obvious reason, aside from the fact that he wanted to start the round at 11 HP.
Maybe he just felt like he's so good at the game he needs to start with a handicap.
Look, guys, I need to prove something here. Just too easy. Single op. Almost had the shot off, but Nat Fly saves his own teammate. That'll be a defuse. 5-1 will be your scoreline.
Yeah, and I mean that it started looking out like a pretty good round for Tempo Gaming. They went for the naked peek and mid without the CT smoke, and you saw Booner actually got a good entry frag on that mid player. But then, you know, the resistance at B, they kind of got stopped by Nat Fly. They couldn't get in there and get him killed and get in the site, get the bomb planted, and from there on out, the round just fell short for him. And they just lost too many casualties trying to take that one person out of the site.
We perhaps have a speed play in development for Tempo Gaming as they move out into long. They've already placed one player by the blue dumpster. And on this round, Lunatik Esports has dropped off to play a passive look, a 2-2-1, where the 1 is on the A side. Now they'll move back, and I think they'll need an elevator boost to get back on top of the platform. Actually, that cat player came back across, and the responsibilities have now changed. Tempo Gaming, meanwhile, moves back toward mid, and will change their initial thought to a mid-take. Now, you have a bunch of players congregating here. Juvenile at the dumpster can get there. There's a dedicated mid-player close, and there's also a player up the slope. So this is, good read by Tempo Gaming. They've changed their position. They're moving up toward Cat, and they'll choose to fight on top of the platform or elbow. Look at this. Michael 3D with the lurk. Not the best burst, but at least he's done his job as a threat. He hits 2 and he surrenders a weapon. Here comes the retake. Just kidding. He hit 1 and damaged Nav Fly, so not exactly the best lurk.
I mean, had he picked up that kill on a Nav Fly, it would have been great, because then there would have been one more person to deal with, and he probably would have been in a better position to do so. And Nav Fly was spraying his teammate down right there.
Now, Lunatik Esports came out to a roaring start. Yeah, they're at 5-1, but this is very sloppy. They could have done this much better on the retake, or if not retaking, they could have saved 3-4 guns.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're gonna have if one person actually just died from the bomb. But yeah, I mean, Daps gets to save his op, which obviously he'll probably pass to Shazam because he's the career opper for Lunatic. And then Nafly holds on to
You don't say.
And if you look at their economy, it was looking kind of weak. They probably would have had to do some sort of force here, and now
which they did.
Yeah, it won't be as bad though. I mean, look at it. You're missing head armor on Shazam. He doesn't mind that because he has an op. But for the most part, their nade inventory is looking pretty good. They all have kits, so it's not that bad of a buy.
No, but it is on the outer reaches of their spending because players are down to 0.037, $50, and $650. You got a one-on-one op duel about to happen. Shazam typically wins those, and in the Shazam fashion, he does win that one. The first one off the field is Booner. We have a player drop, by the way. And since it's not freeze time, expect the pause to be coming afterwards. And also, it could happen mid-round for us because of the fact that we're in GoTV and delayed. So just be wary.
I noticed Shazam was actually aiming pretty low on that, expecting the crouch peek. What if he didn't? You just hit him in the knee and then he kills you.
Well, that's true, but the way that advanced meta works, if you don't understand how the crouch peek works, you're using your momentum to slide out and use the friction of your slide to stop you in the crouch and tapping, well, in particular, along the D key back. You're right. It is a calculated risk. Hopefully, he's got this minute sort of sense of how to position the bullet at the thigh level, so that at least you're hedging your bet.
Yeah. So the score is 6-2. Tempo Gaming struggling a little bit here. Like I said, there were some shining moments where Emong, who actually disconnected, he was making some entry shots for his team, and that's when they picked up one of the 2 rounds. And other than that, I mean, they've been struggling. So, like I said, without Pinecone there to help carry some of this weight, I mean, it's going to be rough for these guys. But they are trying. Well, not trying. Obviously they're trying, but they are doing a decent job so far. I mean, it's not that bad of a deficit. I mean, we saw in the previous game that guys got a 6-0 lead, and then Reliable just came in, completely brought it back within 1. So can't count them out just yet.
Looks like we have our unpause. It happened fairly quickly, thankfully. Let's take a look at the economy. Once these purchases are made, the CZs are up. Next round, we're going to have 2 players within op distance at 4K shots in Emong. The rest of them will be in the AK neighborhood. Lunatic Esports will move out to a 3-man hold for long, including 1 long support. I think the number 3 man can throw a flash down from that distance. Shazam can also pick up the catwalk if he so chooses. Now the responsibilities shift. The players now take up each other's roles. For the T's, fairly simple affair. Move through mid, attempt to bum rush this guy, take a gun, get a bomb plant down, because this is surely going to be a suicide attempt. Booner's through. It's just a matter of, does he make it through the crossfire? Daps doesn't let the first one through. He's got his CZ primed and ready. It's going to be a CZ to CZ battle. Almost a double kill for him. We got 3 T's alive. Same as the CTs, only the difference is they lack armor and they're very, very weak at the moment. The CZ rage attempt by shots is good. One-on-one on the trade. Surprisingly, this is just barely winnable. Emong is very effective and potent with an op if he doesn't have armor and he doesn't have health. He's just as lethal. Juvenile disagrees. He has 2. And Lunatic will put up a 7.
Yeah, I feel like their spots just weren't that great. I mean, Emong was behind the big box with an op. Probably not the best spot you could play with an op in that site on the defense. But, yeah, I mean, they just were weak on holding that site. You saw shots went for the yellow CZ play. Like you said, he traded 1-for-1, made it a 2v2. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to hold on. And you see the losing bonus, well, plus the bomb plant is in effect, so these guys are able to do a full buy here. Full smokes, full flashes, AKs all around. The only difference that I would think they would prefer is to have Flom with an op, since he's been picking up that role.
What was the
For the
reasoning
team.
that the op stayed so stationary? Was there not enough information for Emong to leave the site and go into the tunnels?
Yeah, maybe he didn't feel like he could, make it to the tunnels without getting killed, because the CTs were there and they were probably watching that cross. He probably didn't want to risk it.
That's more than likely. We stepped through the smoke and we've had a double engagement. Shots transfers his AK sprayed at the top of the bricks on the top of the catwalk. That's Shazam who's gone. Hey, it's a very impressive play there to double up. Know that one player ran out of the smoke strafing sideways and one jumped so that they could misalign their headshot boxes. And when they made it through, the shots had that really good spray transfer. That took a lot of courage.
It did, but I mean, it worked out well for him. They obviously had it scripted or knew that they were going to do that, and it worked out great for him. They picked up the double, got easy entrance into A site, and now they just got to hold it 4 versus 3, which is a pretty easy task when you look at how they're set up. I mean, 2 people strong on catwalk, and playing it passively on the A ramp to watch that cross. By the time the CTs do get to long, they won't have enough time to get to the bomb and defuse.
Now, Lunatik will not even try this time. They want to save their weapons. Oh, no. An auto sniper is lost. Does Flom even notice? Does he even want it? Because he has an AWP in his hands. Now, if he looks back, there's a scar to be had.
Auto sniper on T side, I'm not a fan. I feel like that's just way more of a defensive weapon, and the op suits the terror side so much more.
Yeah, there are
aggressive peaks.
There are maybe 2 suitable purposes for it. The high-low and mid, it would be a great addition to have. But
Yeah.
if you're pigeonholed into one role on this map, I suppose that makes your weapon less useful. On other maps, it might be more of an excitement, more of a treat to have a scar.
Yeah.
Train.
Exactly, train.
5 alive both sides. Gun round for both sides, and only 1 weak purchase. Juvenile sitting on a FAMAS in his position, if you must know. He's in the pit at long. 2 to control the catwalk, and they're moving a bit fast now. Shazam realizes that he's been out of position for a while, so he's going to just jumping shoot Emo. I
was too busy looking at his dragon lore off.
Nice transfer. Not a full spray transfer, a burst reset from Booner. Picks up 2 kills, dabs at the last one, and there is only 1 person left in the site. Nafly hits 1, then trades another smoke from Booner to cut off the rotate. He hears it. Shazam never even fully made it out of the smoke on his own screen. 1 versus 2. Juvenile, we called out early, was the long player with the weak gun. And the shot missed from Flom. Oh my god, yeah. 2 HP, and the most epic flank will stick with Booner, who could save the round. The smoke diffuse from Juvenile. He'll try to stick this one, and Booner will hit this shot if he sprays now. He can't figure out where it is. That's a smoke diffuse. Juvenile makes it out alive.
You gotta know it's in the corner, especially with your team telling you on TeamSpeak.
Booner.
Come on, Booner. You had that. You had that.
You and I need to have a word about tapping into smoke, knowing that the guy's there.
Yeah.
I don't even... Okay. We're back into it. Lunatic Esports is at 8 to Tempo's 3. The spray down from the T's coming through long. No good. They do some damage. Oh, there's a head. Or excuse me, not a headshot. A nade kill. Juvenile stuck at the car position is exploded. And now we find that we have to retreat. The T's reset. Where do you go from here? You've got a lot of a leg up. You know, the Juvenile, that player at long, gives you a lot of vacated. Oh no, huge engagement. Shots makes an unbelievable save for his teammates because Nafly had everyone dead to rights. That's the kind of time and play that everyone's kind of running, flipping knives and guns, trying to figure out what they want to do.
Yeah.
You never expect that Berserker to just fly out.
Well, you asked where you want to go, and I was going to say probably in mid to B, because you know Shazam is still alive with that op, which he's not anymore due to that nice shot by Flom. But you knew he was still alive, and I mean, you knew that Lunatic was rotating people over towards A since you got that early entry into long. And I think mid to B probably looking better there. You saw actually Lunatic almost equaled it up there with the man on Cat. I believe it was Fugly. But yeah. I'm sorry?
I said that's correct.
Yeah. So I mean, they picked him up as well, and they could have still even gone, but you know, they decided to just keep pressing A. And I guess Flom was confident in his ability to out op Shazam, and it obviously worked out. And they do get that round, and you see now that Lunatic is on an eco round, so another scenario where you know we see a good start coming out from one team, and then the other team is just slowly bringing it back. I mean, they should be able to get the fifth round here for themselves.
Unfortunate stack for Lunatic Esports. They wanted to take the huge risk, gamble, and put everyone at long A. Didn't work out. Everybody from Tempo Gaming happens to be in bomb site B, and more importantly, they've put 2 players out in the tunnel to make this retake angle completely unrealistic for success. So I don't see. I mean, the way the Tempo is set up has given them a clear exfiltration path. They can get out toward the bombs, or excuse me, they can get out toward the spawn of the terrorists, and they've got 3 people in strong positions inside the site. Lunatic can only hope for exits at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they do have those ridiculously powerful CZs, but entering that side against AKs, regardless, you're not going to have the advantage. So yeah, playing for exits would be the right idea. Seems the guys outside of B in middle kind of got a little antsy and wanted to try to get some picks, and it ended up not working out for him. So the exits obviously in turn didn't work out as well. And Juvenile saying CZ is a great gun. I feel like he's being sarcastic, even though it is ridiculous.
Now, what is the quota that we're looking for? Tempo Gaming, when they set out this round, they said we need to hit a number. Then we'll, on the CT side of things, we'll be feeling fine. Some these days on Dust 2 would tell you that 5 is the number. I don't feel that way, but
6
maybe Tempo is in the right mindset now.
I think 6 minimum, especially on T side. 6 minimum, and you should be able to do it.
Looks like we have a bunch pick attempt from the B entrance. Flom hits 1 and a second. A tougher shot over the top of the barrels. Daps is down. The site is clear, and no casualties taken from Tempo Gaming. We do have some partially weak players, but the positioning of this bomb site B, again, in the same fashion as it was last round with 2 in the tunnels and 3 to hold the strong points. I can't see Lunatic winning this again. Tempo Gaming is going to put up that 6 that we were just talking about.
Yeah, and you see Lunatic is going for the save because they obviously forced for this round. You see 2 promises there with no grenades and some armor. So they have to. They have to save these guns, because if they lose them, then they're going to be saving for, well, not saving, but buying extremely light for the last round, which is going to be, you know, probably CZs or some type of pistol. It's not going to be much. So they want to make sure they save these guns, and, you know, coming out with that kill is even better.
Fugly hits 1. Shazam hits another. There's 2 rebuys, but the economy of Tempo Gaming is beginning to build. The 2 rebuys certainly are important because Emong is down to 2-3, but we do have Flom at 9-1, right about to crest into that 5.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's the last round.
Yeah, oh, my math. All that work that I was doing, I wanted to tell you by the end of next round, we could have 2 people. Excuse me, I didn't realize that they were going to purchase. So not only was my math useless, not only did you just ruin all of that, I just...
That's why I just randomly shot through the smoke, and he ended up hitting a Flom and bring him down to 18 with the scout.
Seems legit.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Why even bother with the analysis? We have 3 and 4 man still fighting at the flat and pit on the ramp. Shazam tries to spray and control his Famas to hit the player at the top of the elbow. Shots will try to clean him up, and he does. Look for the second player retreating down to long, and though he doesn't get it, Booner will hit another one at the elevator spot. Juvenile still fighting, and everybody on that platform is weak. I say this because Daps has the golden ticket. If he throws that nade correctly, he got 1. That's not enough. Booner didn't trade it out. 2 versus 3 on the retake, and I don't think Nap and Juvenile have enough information gathered to know how weak they are, but they will try since it's the last round.
At this hit point level, Nap is basically wielding an op, so...
Yeah, he is exactly wielding an op and having huge movement speed. No scopes all around, but no kit. He can't win this one, but he can make this look awesome. Oh! No hey, he gets all those kills with the scout, and we'll just say he clutched because that was just that cool. You're watching CEVO TV. I'm Cotton. My partner is Klops. Lunatic Esports and Tempo Gaming are at 8 and 7.
And 8-7, I mean, Tempo's got to be feeling great about that, given the start that they had. Like I said, essentially what we saw last game, where the one team started off doing great, and then they kind of lost hold of their lead. Excuse me, and just kind of let it go. And it seemed like Tempo got comfortable. They got some momentum building. They started hitting their entries, and I mean, that's a team where, you know, they are very strong with those AKs, those rifles. And even though Flom, you know, he's stepped in as the opper for their team, he's been doing great with the end op. So he is a presence there. And when everybody else is hitting the entries with the AKs, I mean, they could start picking up those rounds quite easily. And that's exactly what we saw.
The second half coming up right now. Special thanks to our partners over at CSGO Lounge and GameServers.com. Guys, don't you worry. We have giveaways soon. You don't need to remind us. 3 seconds remaining. The prediction for Klops, 16-12 for Lunatik Esports. Does it happen? Well, he's weirdly good at it, so I'm inclined to believe yes, but of course Fade doesn't always play along with us. With the T's, 4 armors, 1 support player with the flashbang already expended, and a smoke grenade. It's a rush B. Apparently, keeping it as simple as possible is the #1 MO for Lunatik Esports. Shots. Oh my. Oh! What? How do you do these things? Booner's the next one in. Also joins the fray with a good-looking headshot and a defuse. If you want to put on a clinic on how to retake bomb sites, let Booner and Shots give you some pointers.
Nothing is worse as a terrorist as when you get in the site, you get the entry kill, you get the bomb planted, and then some CT comes and ruins your day with just nailing headshots left and right like Shots did. I mean, immediately goes from a 5 versus 4 to a 5 versus 2. Yeah, it's very. I mean, excuse me, a 4 versus 3. But yeah, those guys. I mean, amazing shots, and they saved the round for Tempo Gaming, tied it up, and now they have the chance to take the lead for once in this game. And if
it's
they
like
do
one
that,
of those. One of those moments where you don't even need to give analysis on the shot. You just kind of look at it and be like, well, Counter-Strike happens sometimes.
Yeah, people hit ridiculous shots sometimes.
Hot flash in from long distance, and Flom was not at all scared of it. Did he flick it? Because how did he get a quad at that moment? Daps is the last one to get hit by an MP7. Michael 3D with the SMG purchase. So, question answered from last round, yeah, SMG's viable.
Either flicked it or that flash flew past him too far. But either way, Lunatic, they got that bomb plant on the first round, so obviously they're going to be buying up here. I'm wondering if Shazam is going to buy. He is, okay. So he's going to follow and see. I thought maybe he was going to try to save for that op because, you know, that's Shazam in a nutshell.
Shazam is a proficient AK player. I find that he's weaker with CT rifles, but I've always thought that he's been very good with the 47.
Mm-hmm.
3 to hold bomb site B tunnels, 1 at long, 2 at long. Excuse me, no, never mind, just 1 at long. I have a radar glitch, and it's not a decoy. I'm just gonna pretend like that's not there. We'll have a high-low setting up for the Xbox, and maybe even if Daps can get up on the catwalk, a peek into cat and an entry attempt. It's a default, clearly. We have a bomb sitting in tunnel, which tells me that there's some indication that after this, after all the probing, unless they get a kill, this will turn into a rampy.
That's what it looks like. It looks like Daps is probably going to try to, you know, sell the fake towards A. He's got a smoke grenade out, probably going to throw that on a platform, come out, sprays AK a little bit, try to grab that rotator from B, and then, yeah, look at, they're going for the naked peek.
Yeah, we love that. Flom is caught totally unawares. Booner has to try to save his team and try to trade out. Now, this is the mistake. He didn't duck back into the site, and he got greedy. Luckily, Nafly couldn't get his shot on target because that would have been an easy kill for anybody to hit. Shots will hold on to the site, and he's doing a great job of it. Daps is the last one alive, still fighting. Had that kill if he can just rein in his AK, but he's going to get cleaned up by Iman, who finally gets that burst onto him. 10 rounds for Tempo Gaming. A lot of mistakes in that round, but it did end up the way I think it should have.
Yeah, even though Booner, like you said, could have probably backed in the side, played a little safer, he still traded out 2 for 1. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you did a good job. If you're trading out 2 kills for yourself, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, it could have been worse for the team had he not gotten that kill. And now we're seeing Lunatic obviously going for the save from that buy round. And are they trying to sell a fake here and just get that ball planted A? That's what it looks like on the minimap.
Now that nade is perfectly placed. Flom hits a off shot, then is traded long distance after a CZ dink. We'll have Booner step in. Now again, Booner's out in space, fighting in a position where he's only ever going to surrender his weapon. That's a consistent mistake he makes, and if Lunatic Esports is led by a smart commander, Shazam, for example, he's going to know that Booner plays out of position regularly. Expect them to go after him. It's, I mean, you can make the double play, right? You can hit the double, but you're not going to do it consistently. So they will keep testing him, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do on their next gun round. And nice play by Juvenile out there, picking up the kill and going to be able to force his bomb plant. So, I mean, that's a Nico round success in my eyes.
It is. Juvenile's the last one alive. He's at the 2 box, and then he gets cleaned up by shots with the USB headshot. Crisp looking kill. Here's the defuse. Tempo sits at 11.
They do, and like we said, you know, Eco round looked like they tried to force a fake towards mid to B, and it just got blown up by Flom and company holding down mid very well. But at the end of the day, they essentially got what they wanted. They got the bomb down, so it's gonna be extra money in their bank. You see, Shazam is able to afford that op with armor and nades. So yeah, they're looking good. Lunatic has the full buy that they wanted, and they should be able to make something happen here. And if they don't, then Tempo Gaming's lead is just going to advance, and their grip on that win is just going to keep tightening.
Well, here's an opinion for you. I mean, not an opinion for you, an opinion question for you. If Tempo Gaming wins this one, is it all sewn up? Is it a game win?
I mean, that's going to put them at 12, and it's probably going to be another
And an
save.
eco. Yep.
Yeah. So 13, I mean, I'd say it's safe to say that, yeah, they should be able to win it if they get this round. But then obviously, you know, I wouldn't say it's a 100% guarantee. I'd say like 80%.
Flom flicks down, picks up Nafly, who crouched back across to find the support player. Always an awful feeling when you crouch down to find the support player is still wielding an op. But of course, you had to have known because Flom has been playing mid, he has been opping mid, and you were just fighting Booner. So I think maybe his memory just failed him for a moment.
Could be the case.
Could be the case. A platform take. Friendly flashbang for Juvenile. Doesn't matter. His flash is gone and his vision recovered. Shot by Emong saves himself from being traded without the trade back. Is the kill from shots. So now we look at the economy. Most importantly for Lunatic, they can buy, but they'd have to buy mismatched. Shazam would need a drop. Nope. He could buy
They're
weak.
gonna force it.
I think they have to. Knowing that you're on a 4-round deficit and you almost certainly would be overkill on your first save, this has to be the only recourse.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the losing bonus that they have going for them right now, if they lose here, I think it's going to be a save coming out. So if they lose this, Tempo goes to 13, they save, Tempo goes to 14, and then they got to essentially play for their life right there.
Daps gets hit over the top of the smoke, and that's one of those smokes that just doesn't need to happen. There's a way to securely smoke yourself off, to get up catwalk, and not throwing it is sometimes just lazy. Deep Nade's going to head up to the platform, and Emon gets knocked down a peg, down to 43 HP, but he's still sitting fine as they wait for teammates to wrap. It's an all-long presence. And Michael 3D still looking for a cat player. And press, get an easy kill. Then maybe a second. Nope, Shazam picks it up. He's 1 versus 3, and he's going to press the CT player at elevator. He gets that kill, and he knows still one on the platform. They've got him surrounded, and this is surely a win for Tempo Gaming. That's 13-8.
And this is what happens when you control the economy of a team that relies on a star opper like Shazam. He's only had an op once this half, and he wasn't able to do anything with it. And I mean, you know, even though Shazam might be a good rifler with the AK, I mean, he's still known for his opping, obviously. And if Tempo can't keep controlling that, you know, he's not getting the op, then Lunatic isn't at their strongest. And with that, I mean, it's making these rounds that much easier for Tempo to keep winning.
It's so true. Again, a naked run down the catwalk. Flom hits the shot, and that's just so unnecessary. That's a great way to make up for a bad play. Daps picks up the double. The op is on the ground, but it can be recovered. Shots, Michael 3, never mind. Shots, Eddie, never mind. Shots is the last one alive, and Daps just does not care.
Yeah, Daps coming out with the quad. Just complete warpath, catching 2 people out with nades. I mean, that's some CS:GO gods.
We can try to scientific this nonsense up. That was a speed play essentially, but it was just so goofy. There were no flashbangs. There was just Daps going rage mode.
Yeah, and despite Tempo Gaming winning so many rounds in a row, they're actually forced to save here. So I mean, these rounds have been close. That's what that shows. Had they not been close, then Tempo would have a built-up an economy. They want to be saving right now after 1 loss in this half. So yeah, they are hurting a little bit here. And I mean, if Lunatic wants to stage a comeback, now is the time. You get this round, get the next gun round, and then you're pretty much back in it.
And then we could come down to the wire for the kind of game that we all hope we would get tonight. For the T's, maybe a solo pick or a bunch pick attempt at long. They'll have enough space to get out of the door, and this will certainly turn into a bunch. They haven't located the last player, though. It's just one CZ wielder. And turning the corner tight like that versus a CZ is one of those gut-clenching moments. Like, oh, please don't be. He was. Shazam hits the shot, makes Flom do his headshot cartwheel. We're up by 1 player count for the T's. Flom will be planted. Retake happens. 2 from long, 1 from Cat if Daps can make it out. And he gets shot. 3 versus 3, and more importantly, Shots, who's been very, very good recently. By the way, not just recently, he's 19 and 15. He's got a gun, so this retake can't happen, does it? No, I don't think so. There's under retreat, I think.
I mean, they picked up 2 guns from this eco, so I think they're thinking, you know, we could go for the retake, but it's obviously going to be risky. We might as well just save these and hold on to them for next round. Oh, my goodness. Worst case scenario.
Literal worst case scenario just happened.
Well, yeah. Nothing to say about that one. They were going for the save on the guns, and then Juvenile just put the giant nope in their face.
Wow, the way to get Matumbo'd is nope.
Right?
Booner gets hit in the leg. He's down to 19 HP, and we got a speed play heading toward B. Surely the call from his teammates is, I liked him, go toward B, but I think the door got smoked by the CTs, which will slow down the offensive move from Lunatic. It's a good way to counterbalance the known commodity that is Booner's HP, and make sure that at least he can survive for a little bit longer. Do they come back to it? I think they should.
Yeah, I mean, you see, actually, the CTs, obviously, Lunatic doesn't know this, but the CTs stacked 3 towards B, and I think that is because Booner got legged. They didn't want Lunatic to try to take advantage of that, so they put heavy pressure towards B, and, you know, Lunatic is obviously leaning towards A now, but, I mean, they could get a fake going, try to catch that mid-rotator, and then they got an easy side to take.
Heads up play by Tempo Gaming. They know that one of their players got legs, so they've actually turned this into a 2-1-2. The 7 player is not stacking 3-2. He's actually out at mid. He's coming back right now. The smoke, one tap from Juvenile. They sent the second completely redundant shot that he didn't need to do. Emong's dead, and the site's now open at A. That over-rotate, remember, in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the 2-1-2 is prone to being overrun by heavy long pressure, and that's exactly what happened. So Lunatic Esports read the counter read. The CTs moved the player over to help the wounded player at B in a 2-1-2, and then Lunatic came back across, took long in a clinical take. We love it.
Certainly do, and you see they're not even trying to take this because they know that if they go in there and they die, they're gonna have to save. So they get the exit kill and then obviously lose a gun, but they're working here to try and just group up together over towards T-spawn, and they just want to hold on to these guns.
Nobody line up, guys. Everybody spread
let's
out.
Not line up for Fugly again, huh? Or it was Juvenile, sorry.
They lost another gun. This is they lost all but one, and somehow Booner lives through that round.
And now it's going to be a save. Like I said, if Lunatic can't get that gun around, I mean, the comeback is happening. They should be able to pick this up. That's going to put them at 12. Then they're just 1 round away from the tie. And it's just so crazy how you know, each side has been one-sided for the most part, and then the other team comes back, and it's just the fact that, you know...
Play. Juvenile's already here. He knows this has to be something of an eco round, so he jumps right in, knocks down Flom, who's been... Oh, no. Knocks down Flom, who's been one of the stellar performers of Tempo Gaming. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Please continue on with the odds, because for those new Counter-Strike viewers who are not on the same page as us, this round has some pretty hefty meaning.
Yeah, well, I was just saying, you know, as long as you aren't losing rounds drastically, whereas you're still trading out effectively and you're losing, that sets you up for the comeback so well because, like I said, the enemy team doesn't get to build their economy. Tempo Gaming hasn't been able to do that. They've been, you know, losing many people in these rounds, so the economy has been stifled, and as soon as Lunatic won 1 round, that put Tempo on this eco, and that completely changed the tone of the game and allowed Lunatic to come back like this.
trade attempt from Emong. The second attempt was good. Michael 3D's waiting for an exit here that he may not get because at the blue dumpster, they're already safe from the explosion. Lunatic Esports will be at 12. They're one away from tying it up.
They are, and this is where Tempo needs to, just get their composure back and say, no, we're not letting you come back, and we're not letting you win this game because, even though, look at Nafly, his bank is 12K, everybody else at 6K, 6 to 7K, so...
Basically, that tells you got to play perfect rounds now because you're not going to force ecos.
No, going out the rest of this game, they should be, Lunatic should be able to buy for the most, pretty much for almost every round for the rest of this game, even if they lose, but... Yeah, Tempo's in a tight spot, and it's because they weren't trading that effectively on the rounds that they were just barely winning. So
Michael 3D starts it off absolutely correctly. He knocks down Nafly, who is already out the door at the blue dumpster. We got to move out toward B. It's not a full wrap. It's a late wrap. The number 3 man is taking his time inside the tunnel. Sean's trying to hold on and is traded, though. 2 kills on the way in from the CTs, and that's Daps and Juvenile who they remove. So 2 versus 3. Shazam has his trademark up, and Fugly has an AK-47. Now we got the retake, and the smoke dissipates. Emong will be the first one through the tunnels. That leaves Flom and Michael 3D to come in through the other 2 entrances. Flash over. 2 versus 2. Now it's time. Fugly hits 1 and the double. It's tied up.
It is, and we should be seeing a save here from Tempo. Let's see their money. They can force. I don't know if I like it though. You see Flom, he's buying that up. He wants to battle Shazam, and have his team force Famas. So they're going for the gamble play because if they lose this, they're gonna be ecoing on the next round, and that's probably gonna get Lunatic the game point.
Flashes over and counter flashes. Forced Famas is on the round. They slow down the long players. Michael 3D's out in space, and I don't know that he's registered that somebody's already inside the pit. He needed to escape. Good thing that he did. Game sense may have just saved him. Nafly is alone in the middle, and if you can take a look at the spatial spread of all the CTs, he could have snuck into mid. Elevator boost, and Juvenile's going to see it. I think he didn't recognize it. It won't matter. You need headshots here only. Emong does marginal damage, and it's not enough to knock down anybody, so the AK firepower remains on the field and rains down on Booner. Shots versus 4, and I don't think he's going to attempt to save the Famas. He'll just walk right into the AK burst of Juvenile, who helps his team take the lead 14-13.
Yeah, and Flom, he had enough money to buy the op. He wanted to be the anchor for his team, and he went down first to Shazam, so... once that happens and your team is left with, subpar guns compared to AKs, then it's obviously not going to work out. Look at this. They're going for another force.
That was the buy where everyone was like, save, and then everyone realized, no, we have to buy.
We have to, unless we want to play for the tie. They want to play for the win right now, so...
It's going to take some extraordinary efforts, and that's one way to start it. A dink and a follow-up chest shot. Shots drops Nafly, and his gun now left in B tunnels. 4 Ts, and now in Dust 2, you still got a lot of ways to maneuver as a team because the rotate times are about medium length, so if you move together, overload a spot, especially somewhere like mid, you can use your numbers to overwhelm. You've got to push through the tunnels. Look at the 6-man. Flom and Shots have made it all the way through. Now they need to pitch, and Shots is just taking too long. His teammate needs his help. There's an easy kill to be had, and he has it. Juvenile's dead. They'll retreat back toward bomb site B as the T's now rain in flashes. There's no one in the site. It's a full 5-man retake team, and they can use all this time to... Oh, an uncharacteristic miss from Shazam. They can use all this time to get this retake done. It's going to be tough to pierce through, but this is the best case scenario. They do have flashbangs. Counter flash. And then forward flashes. Booner and Shots combined, and the last one alive is Fugly, who tries to hold on. It's going to be tied up again.
I gotta say, Shots, the all-star of that round, getting those 2, well, first of all, the early kill through smoke and B tunnels, that was huge. Immediately making it a 5 versus 4, and then, he kills the other person as they're trying to execute that mid to B wrap, and then they take over the B tunnels and let the terrorists actually get into the site. Interesting play. I mean, you're giving up the site, you're giving up the defensive hold.
But giving up the money does nothing, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it is fine. I mean, it worked out. You saw they pick up that round and they tied it, and now they're actually in a better position. They have good guns, except for the two bonuses.
Oh, when you need the clutch play. You heard both of us.
Yeah, that was too. That was too good.
When you need the clutch play, call the Magic Man. Juvenile hits another. Emong down. 3 alive for the CTs and soon to be 2 if Michael 3D keeps on fighting aggressively like that. He'll drop back and the rotate on from shots to come back toward A. You may even see Tempo Gaming full on lean toward A to try to get some early kills and then try to retake later as a team because they need numbers, strength in numbers. That nade is just too well timed and Shots has somehow dodged that. And not Matt. Takes a leg shot, has 9 lives apparently, but Shazam will clean it up. And when you need clutch plays, still there. Long distance Glock shot almost landed, and Flom would have died from that. Here's the bomb plant. And for the tie point, Lunatik Esports is in a commanding position. So Tempo Gaming now thinking we cannot win this. Let's play for the tie.
It's
Honestly,
they have to at this point. Even with that nice shot, I mean, that's just basically forcing a rebuy at most, you know. They got to save these guns and Michael D to protect Flom here as you see this flank is happening from the number 2 man Daps.
Yeah, Daps will step through and walk right into the crosshairs of Michael 3D. It seems like we have a bit of a hiccup. It just got cleared up, thank God. And Michael 3D wins it. And that was critical. That was absolutely critical that he wins that so he can help his teammates by.
Absolutely. Oh man, that was just you gotta say that was just too perfect. How we were talking about how Tempo's back in it, and then but yeah, I mean either way, you know they lost that round, but still they did a good job of saving the valuable guns. And if you look at their buy, another one, dude.
There's a smoke grenade there, man.
Come on, Lunatic getting 2 of those early picks. I mean, that's so detrimental for Tempo Gaming.
Now, another play toward B. You can see all the Lunatic Esports players turning around and hightailing it toward B in case they want to use a wrap B tactic here because, of course, they did knock out one of the players. That smoke will delay them just a hair. Now they'll try to enter. Flom is still in the site, fighting, and then jumps up onto the box errantly, gets shot by Fugly. 2 players alive, and they will be forced to take this retake. 2 versus 4, and the fortunes of Tempo Gaming looks like they have all but dried up. Here's the retake attempt, and Emong will be the first one into the window. Daps wins that battle, then is traded by Michael 3D, who's still fighting inside the site. Finally knocked down by Napfly's AK-47, and this game ends 16-14 for Lunatic Esports. You're watching CEVO TV.